Hello, I'm Christopher Petronis. I live in Easley, which is just outside of Greenville here in South Carolina. I volunteer down here at 96 when they have certain events throughout the year. I like to focus on things that would be pertinent to surveying, engineering, some of the mechanical sciences that were very much employed here at 96 and during the American Revolution in terms of siege warfare and just everyday general surveying that would have been a very important part of military engineering. So for this weekend in particular, we're trying to focus on the 1775 initial, what you would call engagement or clashes between the loyalists and those who considered themselves patriots, or some would say rebels, depends on what perspective you're at. Today, therefore, I am basically portraying a local surveyor who has mustered into the local militia company and given a commission temporarily because they need people who know something about how to measure land, how to lay out, potentially at least have an eyeball for land and how to lay out fortifications, things of that nature. Now the fortifications they had here during the initial engagement were very rudimentary because they only had between 4 and 5 hours to get something defensible set up. So they used a lot of existing structures up here on the high ground. There was some outbuildings and barns that have been reconstructed here, and a typical farming split rail fence. So what they did is they moved the fence around a little bit. They used some hay bales. They actually used rawhide to cover up some of the fence rails to act as a rudimentary barrier to basically show the loyalists who are on the other side of that, hey, what do you know, we're trying to set up a defensible position here. So it's very possible that some local person who had surveying skills or something of that nature, or maybe previous military experience during the French and Indian War, would be used in this type of capacity. The American Army, of course, at this time isn't really even an army. In 1775, we're not an open rebellion. There has been no declaration of independence, and they have no corps of engineers. All of the basic military engineering that the Americans were going to use at that time period was provided by the French and other foreign volunteer services, whereas the British Army had a very specific, highly trained, educated corps of engineers that would handle fortifications, roads, bridges, map making, things of that nature. Which is why the Americans eventually, after the Revolution, established our famous military academy at West Point, so that we could train engineers in this art.